Namaskar, and welcome back to our daily reflection series. And in this series, I'm sharing inspirations, thoughts, ideas that can bring some feeling of excitement and depth and meaning to meditation, and also to our efforts to remain aware and conscious as we work and during our day. I'll make some apologies today because we've got quite heavy rain on our windows, so there's going to be a little bit of competition, but hopefully you can still hear me. So the topic today is loneliness is a belief. Separateness is a belief. Some time back, I just had this thought came in my mind that I don't have to believe in separateness. Rather, I can choose. So, if we accept our yoga philosophy, everything is one. So why do I experience separateness? And without separateness, I won't feel lonely, of course. So, we believe, or we have a certain view of reality as separate, but it isn't actually the deeper reality. So part of overcoming this feeling of loneliness is just acknowledging that loneliness is some kind of belief. And that immediately undermines and weakens the state of consciousness where we feel lonely. It's only a belief. It's not something that I have to accept. So getting rid of that belief is one thing, and then replacing it with the idea of oneness. And I think there's a beautiful phrase, which most of you already know, given by our master Sri Anandamurti, that you are never alone or helpless. The force that guides the stars guides you too. That is something that, of course, it's wonderful to hear it, but it's something that needs to be practiced and repeated. It's an auto-suggestion. I am never alone or helpless. That force which guides the stars is always with me. If you begin focusing on that, remembering it, repeating it, you begin to be able to sense it, because it is a description of the fundamental reality. We are never alone. This force which guides the stars is guiding us. We are part of this cosmic creation. Our very existence is being maintained by cosmic imagination. So we are never alone. We are always being imagined. We are always being supported. We only feel alone when we forget that. When we choose not to remember, or when we simply are unable to remember that we are not alone. So then what I'm suggesting is undermine your belief, weaken your belief that you are alone, and replace that belief by reminding yourself constantly, as often as you can, I am never alone or helpless. The force that guides the stars guides me too. So it's a reality, but only because of our assumptions and our beliefs, we don't experience it. Now, when we do meditation, we can reinforce that feeling of not being alone in two particular ways. One, we can imagine, visualize that we are totally and completely surrounded by love permanently, forever. Now that's just a description of the underlying deep reality, but we have to remind ourselves, and we have to try and go deep into it and focus on it so that we can experience it fully. So meditation is the opportunity to do that. So feel yourself, imagine yourself, visualize yourself totally surrounded completely and permanently by this universal love, divine light. The more you do that, the more that reality becomes perceivable to you. Then, even though we are, well, the question comes, why aren't we experiencing that? That love is there, but we can't experience it if we have walls around us. And we have to remove those walls in order to allow that love to come in and fill us up in experiencing it and experience it. So how can we do that? When we concentrate in a point and reduce ourselves to a tiny point, we make ourselves free from the walls which normally surround us. Okay? So I'm busy thinking of all the things of my daily life. That's a wall which keeps that subtle level of love out because I'm busy with something else. I'm not letting it in because I'm not open to it. Right? Mind cannot think of so many things at the same time. So when I'm busy with something, that acts like a wall and keeps that love out. It's there, but I'm keeping it out because I'm not mentally open to it. And the other wall is I'm engaged in this limited body. Here's the boundary. I'm here and everything else is outside. So as long as I'm engaged with my body, there's an inside and an outside, and that's another wall. So we can get rid of both of those walls by visualizing ourselves and shrinking ourselves down to a tiny point of pure spirit. No body, no world of objects and things and people and situations, just this one tiny point of being. And if I can do that, I slip free of all those walls. I have no boundaries, I have no armor, I have nothing preventing that love from coming in. So those are the two elements. Shrink yourself down to a tiny point and imagine that divine love, that universal love, totally and completely surrounding you forever. And just keep working at it, day after day after day, and soon it will become a reality for you. And then when you open your eyes, what has changed? Nothing. You just opened your eyes, that's all. And you can hang on to that feeling if you look around you and say, the world is love. The world is God. So you're still surrounded. Everything in the world is the divine, is cosmic consciousness, imagination. Remind yourself that. Reinforce it. Practice it. And you see the world around you and you're surrounded by cosmic love, cosmic consciousness. You're never alone. You're always supported. So these are subtle ideas, and they are kind of against the assumptions that we grow up in, that I'm my body, I'm separate, I'm cut off, I'm alone. Right? So it takes work and practice to overcome those habits and assumptions. Our master Sri Sri Anandamurti gave a beautiful example. He said that, and it's appropriate because it's raining today, he said, cosmic grace, cosmic love is raining down on everyone and everything equally. But we don't feel it because we've got an umbrella over our heads. And that is the umbrella of ego. So in this case, the umbrella of ego is that belief. I am alone, I'm separate. I'm a separate ego. I'm a separate, So that's a wall. So what he says is remove that umbrella and allow that love to rain down upon you and completely soak you. All right, so that's what we have to do. We have to remove the umbrella of ego. How do we do that? By letting go of that belief I'm separate, and by reminding myself, by shrinking down to a tiny point, right? A point has no ego. So just be that point of pure being, and then all that love has no barriers. It can just come in and take over. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for joining, and have a lovely day. Namaskar.